Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I am DigitalQF William Zhang, and next to me, of course, my co-caster for tonight, Temp0ral. Temporal. How you doing, my friend?
I'm so glad to be back. It feels like just last week we were in stage 1, but already Order have asserted their dominance in the region, and we're here with stage 2 kicking off. It's a delight to be here at Digital, and what a match to kick off this quarterfinal night.
Yeah, absolutely. And in case, guys, you don't know what you're watching, this is the Valorant Oceania Tour 2021 Stage 2 quarterfinals. This will be the seeding to determine the order of the teams for the closed qualifiers. Now, Temp0ral, tonight, the best of 3 that we're doing, Order versus Paradox Esports Club. And I understand Paradox recently, they've had a change in leadership.
Yeah, a few roster changes here. You've got Nation and Maz coming in. So for them, it's a little period of building. They've got a bit of a base to work on, keeping 2 or 3 players around. And we know that they have a good pedigree so far. Last stage, they were able to make it into the closed qualifiers. They almost made it into the main event from the second chance qualifier. Weren't quite able to get the job done there. So hopefully these extra players they brought, there's new players, sorry, they brought in, prove to be the upgrade they need to take them that one step further and get them into the main event. But first of all, well, yeah, I guess as a you've got to get through Order to kind of give yourself at least a good seeding going forward. So a tough ask for them here, given that, of course, we all know Order, the reigning champions, are the best team in the region, bar none. They proved it once, and they're on their way to prove it again, given their performance so far in the tournament.
Yeah, Order, look, last night when I casted them, no, who was it? Order, they actually haven't played that many games into this open qualifiers thus far, because, you know, they were the first seed. They had a bye initially for the round of 64, and then last night, Nebula first, they pretty much took down Ooga Booga rather single-handedly. And then against Order, oh man, map 1, it got really close, but you could just straight up assume that was Order's warm-up game, because map 2, Order, they showed up, established Law and Order, and then, what was it, like a 13-2? Absolute domination.
It was, yeah, a dominating before. Exactly the word there, dominating performance. And so Paradox, if they want to avoid Nebula's fate, they've really got their work cut out for them tonight. They've, I mean, we talked about swaps to the Paradox roster. For Order, they've got Sign filling in for Dick Stacey temporarily. Normally you'd think, oh, a new player coming, it might be difficult, but this is Signed. You know how good they are. So bringing them in, it's kind of like a Sentinels 10 situation. You're the best team in the land. You got to make a sub, and you bring in this amazing ringer who's just been sitting out there wide open, nothing to do. And so far, it's been working out for them.
Yeah, so far, Signed actually, well, this is a little bit of trivia. I'm not too sure what the whole deal is with him and Order, but last night in the chat, Dick Stacey, when he was watching, he said that Signed won the position on the team over from him in a fist fight. So, one can assume that's what happened, but anyways, first map of the night, Haven and Temp0ral. Look, they defend as Orders. They've already locked in all their characters, were relatively standard, but Texter, once again, on the Astra, deadly combinations on the executes. But they are starting on the defense.
Bring out the new agent. It's been a while since we've seen an agent be introduced to the game and then show up in the same prevalence that Astra has so far. She's getting a fair bit of play, not only here in Oceania, but across all regions. You think back maybe to Sky. She got a little bit of play, but kind of went out of favor. Yoru, 0% play time across the entirety of professional play. So it's nice to see that kind of agent coming in. And I know there was some questions about where Astra would fill in. Would she be the straight up smoker? Would she need some help in that regard? But so far, teams seem to have settled on that solo smoker role. And why not? You've got so much versatility on where you can put the smokes. You've got those little 1 second, 2 second smokes when you recall the stars. It can make life miserable for the other team. So a very flexible agent. I'm looking forward to see what Texter has for us in that regard tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, guys, just a small, well, not shout out, but plug. Crash, he may be a little bit biased. He likes RDW for Wildcard Gaming, so he won't be with us tonight. Instead, he'll be covering Wildcard versus Team Bliss, who was ex-Fun Crew. So tonight, it will be me and Temp0ral. And Temp0ral, you got the reins. Camera controls handed over to you. And right off the bat, Disco, not Disco, sorry, Order. 4 players stacked towards the A side. Mid is left all alone and leaving the Astra solo defense on C. The round ticking down. Oh, sorry, please.
I was going to say, no surprises coming out here.
Ooh, and the paint shells along with the fault line. Exempt here, he gets pushed out. Autumn with a clean, sharp shot. That's already one player down on Paradox. It hasn't even been 10 seconds yet. And Paradox still holding on for dear life. Maz on a slightly higher angle. Flashpoint to bail himself out. Order, he gets spotted, but manages to escape that smoke narrowly. Actually from Paradox, hiding his presence. And Paradox, you know, they showed aggression towards A side early on in the round. Things didn't work out. Rotating over to C. Order, already fast on the rotation. Astra sitting in the corner. Texter dodges the flash, and oh no, Exhibited. He get flashed instead. Texter comes out on top. Even has time to pull out the Nebula mid-fight, essentially. And Paradox, they finally get a trade back from Dilusion, not a sign, but the shock darts. Now it's all down to the lucky last player. Dilusion, 1v4. 2 players are tagged, but this is a very tall order. Slowly walking onto the B site. If you can get the spike planted at the very least, that will be ideal, but already from behind mid. 2 players flanking him. Texter, first player on engagement, might just catch him off guard. Backwards turn, Dilusion, no, manages to dodge the bullets. Texter now, and Nebula as well. Onto the A side, but Dilusion sitting on the B. Slowly but surely, the Sharks are circling around. Good for one. Tux was 1 shot away from death. Texter also a headshot away, but Dilusion turns around at the worst possible timing. Texter confirms the kill. Order, 3 players standing, 1 on the board.
Yeah, it was great play by Order there. They responded well to the pressure that Paradox is throwing out to them. They fended off A. You saw the rotation go through towards that C side. And a brilliant flash there coming out of Tux. Yeah, Texter gets caught in it, but it's absolutely brutal for Exhibit. Can't quite make their way onto site. And once Paradox was down in enough numbers, it was just easy pickings for Order to collapse on them. Hey, that's how the pistol rounds go sometimes. You just get unlucky with those trades and it doesn't go your way.
Yeah, that's all I can really say. It's the pistol round, you know? It's the probably most even playing field round you'll have in the game. No one has that many abilities, no one has that much armor. It's pure aim. And speaking of pure aim, Autumn starts off early onto Nation, and Exempt gets stuck in between the door frames. Disco already on 3 kills now. On 4, secures a quadra. Order, flawless, clean, fast round. Paradox, that was a throwaway round. They only had classics. Ideally do some damage, plant the spike. It didn't come to happen, but now they will be coming to this round full buys.
I like the play from Exempt. They're going deep into Garage, trying to catch someone off guard, but it was a beautiful paint shells from Disco, just to make sure that there was no chance of the Jet making any damage with the shorty they picked up. As you said, that was just an eco round for them now. They'll be coming in with rifles. And yeah, it's, of course, bonus round for Order, so they're going to be playing these corners pretty tight. Plenty of presence over on that A site, and that's exactly where the attacking team is coming from too.
Oh, look at Order as well, investing utility early on A-long to secure the ult orb. Autumn, he's not quite there to the Blade Storms, but if he can maybe secure 3 kills, which is a tall task with the Ghost, at least he will have the ultimate confirmed. Maybe 2 and a death, that works out. Signed! Oh my god! Peeking from sewers, a single tap, Exempt is gone. Signed, as you may know, an ex-Jet main. It takes 1 to no 1. And Order Autumn off of his teammate's flash. Aggressive, but couldn't quite land the chances of Nation. That was a little bit disastrous. Nation comes out on top, very tagged though. But Tux is the man to get the kill regardless. Paradox, they are playing too passive early on, and Order, they're showing their fangs and poking in front of him to see if Paradox can take the aggression, and it seems like they are unable to. And remember as well, this is Order's bonus buy round. They have SMGs all the way, and Paradox, it's 2v4. Their Cypher already a lick away from death. Look at Nation. 9 HP, you breathe on this man. He's dead.
It's a tough time to be a Nation sometimes. World's in a little bit of turmoil. First Light has caused havoc everywhere.
30
the last
left.
Hail Mary attempt. Yeah, I'm going to be able to bypass Tux here at least. And you see Sign's actually rotating away. So now a small chance here, at least getting the spike down, a little bit extra credits. Maybe there's a miracle in store, but things will be looking tough for this attacking team. They are going to get at least a chance to plant the spike.
Yep, 10 seconds. The spike will be confirmed, but Tux, yeah, definitely catches Nation. 9 HP, not much, but he could really do. It's all down to Exhibit on his lonesome. Well, here's the right gun to work it out with, but misses the shotgun, unfortunately, and Flashpoint to come in. He has to dodge for his life, and the wall penetration thing! Sign did some damage initially, Tux to clean up, and look at Order, they're filching all the rifles off of the dead bodies on Paradox. Signed, you notice he has someone to defuse his teammates, they're all running over to A-long, to sewers, pick up the rifles, so they won't have to reinvest that money into the next round.
Fantastic work there from Order, making use of the weapons they had to full effect. And as you just mentioned, they're picking out weapons. Not only did they get the benefit of a bonus round there, they pick up the weapons that gives them an extra round, 2 rounds in the future, which they don't have to buy in, or they'll at least have credits for. But for the moment, Paradox back on the eco, so Order looking good to at least get out to 5-6 rounds at the start of this first half and set them up really well here on their defense.
And actually really interesting about Awesome. Early on in the round, he had about 8,000. He was basically capped out, but opts to use a Vandal instead of an Operator. And you know, Awesome, last night, very deadly on the Jet Op.
Scanning ahead.
A sense, long-range map as well. It's maybe just a different playstyle. Not quite feeling the flicks tonight. Wants to go more aggro. Speaking of aggro, already exempt. Makes his way into Garage. Pretty much for free. Now Paradox, they have some guns to work with, but exempt, he's all alone. And should Disco or Texter find out what's happening, oh, Paradox are man down early round again.
Well, Exempt's been in this position before, but ate a paint shell this time. Looking to be a little more cautious. Disco perhaps suspect the Jet is going to be there. So plenty of coverage on that exit from Garage.
Flashpoints were being
Util's going
out.
down on C.
Yeah.
Just Autumn left.
And Autumn, he does get revealed at the end of the day, back to side, still trying to go for a spray down. Illusion comes out on top, Hunter's Fury from Sign, may actually catch a player or two, won't actually tag anything just yet while the duel is on site. And Paradox, they come out on top. They manage to have the flank and the numbers advantage, just the angles. Illusion, oh dear, that's not what you want to see. Sova on Sova, Guardian on Guardian, misses a few shots. Sign is confirmed to be towards the B sides, while Paradox, the runner to C, confirm the spike plants. And Sign trying to find a Vandal to play with, in which he indeed will. 1v3. I'm not saying that it's impossible, but Sign, you know how cracked this player is he can very much do it. Paradox, however, they have the right idea. 3 players all playing the same angle. Sign has got to go absolutely enormous here to clutch the round for first team. Manages to dodge the fault line. Recon out to come through. Will get popped, but they confirm his location. Definitely on the site, on the spike even. Where else could he possibly be? Sign trying to tap away, eats the shock dart, 58 HP now, 2 shots will finish the job. Maz does it in one. Paradox to finally take the first round on the board.
And what a way to do it. On the back of losing that last round, they come in with almost nothing. You see, Exempt did go for the Spectre, but got taken down pretty early, but the rest of the team able to get kills, pick up some weapons, and give themselves a fighting chance to finish that off. And yeah, really nicely played. No, especially like, yeah, the placing the spike there, you know that there's only one player on the other team. They have to go for the spike, and if there's 3 players sitting down still long, they've got almost no hope aside from a miracle.
Well, Awesome, he has bought that Operator now, so Paradox may have an angle or entire site locked off. Early Nebula by Texter just to deny vision, but this could allow Paradox to pick up the ult orb outside C long. And there you go, Awesome, already locking down A sewers. That's the entire left side of the sites blocked off, and this allows his teammates to rotate off of A, go over towards mid, go over towards C, in which Paradox right now, they're being really patient and just waiting for Order to push, aggression, the poking and prodding that we saw early on in the first and second few rounds. It's not happening. Order, they're showing great respect and restraint.
Yeah, they suspect the rotation is coming through towards that A site. The Aldrome might have just caught a couple of them moving through the attacker spawn. But still, there's presence over towards C for Paradox. There's just the stars left, so there'll be a little bit of deterrence facing Paradox as they come in. But now the dark cover's going out in Garage. You can see the rotations coming through. Digital hit is going down. And only 40 seconds left. No choice of Paradox. They have to commit.
They are committing an Order. They're already lying in wait. Exhibit already vulnerable. Finally, it is gone. And Order, they understand what's happening. They don't have site control, so they have the utility, however. So they can just wait and sit back. Let the plants go down, go for the retake, which does get denied, I think, by shot darts early on. Rolling Thunder to come out. Texter confirms one to Mads and exempts his backside. Does he at least get the spike down? Disco fishes over, explodes him point blank. 2 players of Paradox already tagged down. Essentially 1 shot away from death. Disco confirms another one to Delusion. Order, so far, this retake is flawless. Exhibit's trying to peek out. Disco is on an absolute roll. 3 kills. Nation confirms 1, but he's outnumbered, outgunned, will go down. And Order, they get yet another round. Clean retake and a defuse.
It was a great idea from Nation there to go around the backside through defender spawn, trying to find a nice flank. I mean, you called it. The Rolling Thunder sweeping through the site meant that Paradox had to back off. They had to go from that C-long position, which they kind of wanted to do given where they planted the spike, but they couldn't get out in time. They lost players on exit from the site, and they just didn't have the numbers they needed. And of course, you've got Texas still there, the Astro. Going to be smokes for days. There's little gravity wells as well. It was always going to be a very difficult position to hold for Paradox.
Yeah, and plus, you know, early on, it worked out so well because it was planted in that small angle, right? But we'll talk about that in just a moment because Awesome is about to engage first player. Operator will catch, indeed, Maz, and that's the flash is gone. The best flashes, at least, for Paradox. Example pushes away onto the A side by himself. No trades come through. Autumn shoots him out of the air like a pigeon. Looking for more. Order, 3 players already on the A side to lock it down. Sign gets tagged, but it's no concern because you can see the utility coming out from Order, from Tux as well, just to deny any potential push coming out from Sewers. Awesome, still on the prowl, looking for more. And Delusion, what a shock dart from Sign as well. The double bounce. Delusion, he takes a little bit of damage and fires one back. But Sign now with the Owl Drone, tucks the peek off of it. May spot out 2 players. But the mechanical aim is absolutely there. Confirms it onto Nation. Delusion probably gets stunned off of that fault line, I think. Delusion now by himself, also for 3, and tucks the finish off. Law and order, Temp0ral. That's all I can say right now.
Oh my, they got stuck into it. Their shock darts are brilliant there from the Sovers, though. Keeping those players locked in, so it's so difficult to get out when you're being surrounded by those little explosive bolts. Once again, you're going to see Paradox forced onto an eco. And I mean, it's credits for days for Order here. They're not even losing players. Paradox is even applying enough pressure to even force Order to break a sweat. And the way this half is going, I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a repeat of that performance against Nebula coming out of Order. Things not looking good for the current attacking team.
And Autumn as well, already aggressing down C long here. He has assistance from a teammate, so he's definitely confident he has backup should the worst come to happen. Paradox, the players starting to work into Garage, but look, Texter, he's already lying away. Autumn from C, Texter, the simultaneous kills, and the gravity well suck. Nation, he's vulnerable. Texter wants this kill, he's thirsty for it. Nation only has a Sheriff to work with. Sign is already there to back him up. Nation at least confirms onto Sign. Texter on the trade back. Autumn, look, he's just on a roll, you know. He confirms, he just locks down these long angles with the operator. Maz by himself at that distance, the Sheriff. I'm not even sure if he can one-shot. But God, he will try his hardest. And the Sharks, they smell blood. It's starting to swarm in now. Disco from long. Maz. Oh, at least takes down this guy. What a sharp shot. But 1v3 in the firing squad. He will finally go down and Order up by 5.
Yeah, I mean, I think Maz just trying to find as much value as they could there. They know that there's no point in keeping the Sheriff, so you're not going to save it, and very little chance of getting out of that corner alive. You know, Autumn is there holding down the angle. So Paradox, they'll be buying back in. Exempt will be opting into the operator this round. They've got a few ultimates to work with, so maybe that will be the play. They haven't quite been able to get it done with the neutral, just general gun game. Perhaps a couple of ultimates in their piggy bank will be able to make the difference for them, and they can get a round or 2 on the board towards the end of this first half because they'll sorely need that positive reinforcement as we go into halftime.
Yeah, like you said, ultimates, they have the Rolling Thunder, and that is easily the most impactful by Order now. This is the aggression. They're poking and prodding to see if Paradox can take the pressure. Disco, first player on engagement. Exempt watching Sewers in case Awesome goes for a peek. Shots are exchanged. But overall, no one gets downed just yet. The thing about Paradox right now, they can aggress, but they have to be so wary of where Autumn is playing. You simply cannot afford to peek that man with his operator because you'll instantly pretty much lose your man advantage.
Yeah, so as soon as the pressure came off A and they heard the Owl Drone and Garage, Sign able to wrap around the back, throw out the Owl Drone of their own. So now there is some presence over here for the defending team on the C side of the map. Bit of intel being gained by Exhibit in the back of the side. Not going to stick it. Oh, gets caught on the return. That's absolutely brutal for Paradox. Rolling Thunder sweeps through the point. They're committing to this seaside hit.
I know.
They want to take care of Texter. Give them a little opening.
Yep, this guy gets one onto Nation, and Paradox, there you go. There's the man disadvantage. Autumn, he's lying in wait, still waiting for an aggressive push backside to C to plant in that little corner there. And Maz, oh look, somehow still alive. 28 HP, the flashpoint from Tux. And now Maz, there's a tall Order against them. Manages to dodge the aftershock, but Autumn already lying away. Pulls out the Sheriff, sharp shooting. And Order, they are unstoppable currently. Also, like early on, I wanted to mention that when Paradox was down to 1v3, it worked out successfully because when you plant the spike in that little corner on C, there's only one angle they can defuse from, right? And no utility, really. But without getting a man advantage onto Order and trying to plant in that same spot, it's not going to work out. There's a way too much utility, you know, and the mechanically superior players, arguably, you have smokes, you have flashes, and you have the gravity wells. It definitely won't work out unless you manage to get a few initial early picks. It just doesn't seem to be going that way.
Nation will be keeping a look at on the A side, but Autumn once again pushing forward aggressively with the operator. The Cypher's going to be very careful. They cross this sight line, they could be in trouble. Meanwhile, the rest of the team up towards B, but there's plenty of coverage there.
Yeah, Disco gets one to Exhibit and Sign. Now the Hunter's Fury, every player of Order are chiming and picking up the kills. Maz finally point blank will execute Texter, but the Hunter's Fury, the last shot, takes down Maz regardless. Dilution, oh look, you're gonna have your recon arrows soon, but now Sign, he's so aware with the Eldron to come out. It's gonna spot at Paradox Dilution either way. The jump down was definitely heard. At least the C side is clear, so he can potentially stick the plants. And look, just the utility stack that I mentioned earlier. Dilution, he's getting surrounded, outgunned, the double stack. Order, Disco confirms, and Order, unstoppable Temp0ral.
What a half coming through from Order, showing why they are the big dog in the region. It's so difficult to beat them, and you feel a bit unlucky for Paradox running into them at this point. Sometimes you go into the bracket, you look at who you face up against, and go, geez, maybe next time. Because it's Order, it's just so difficult to stop them. You look at the results in the last stage finals. They went 2-0, 2-0, and then, yeah, Mindfreak took a couple of laps off them, but they're still able to get the job done there. They're just so difficult to dislodge. But right now, it's almost as though they don't really have much competition in the region. And this performance here is showing you why.
Yeah, well, we lost our earlier Vanguard's Exo clan, so it really is down to Order to, you know, show the world what's up. So far, so good, but essentially you can compare them to, like, you know, draw the parallels that they are the Vision Strikers for Oceania. And Dilution, oh my god, the gravity well, it's just so deadly. Even he was standing in the corner, it sucks him in towards the doors. A single paint shell, whatever, it maybe just ended his life. Last night we saw a fragile player getting one shot by one of Disco's paint shells. The Paradox this time again. We keep seeing them play default, play really slow, and this may actually allow Order to go aggressive and get map control. As you can see, Autumn, he's pulled out the Blade Storms, he's aggressing down into Azules with Tux. Here's a flash right behind him, and Paradox, they just don't seem to go for a brute force site take. This may not work out in their favor.
Paradox actually walking right into the jaws of Autumn.
Oh, it does not matter. Awesome. Oh, what was that? You narrowly saw the hair onto Exam, takes him down regardless. Nature on the trade back towards mid. At least B-side is somewhat open, but Order is starting to swarm on though. Maz by himself gets tagged down even. Autumn dodges around the fault line. The flashpoint to come out. Autumn doesn't care. He just runs up, gets the kill. I think he dropped his operator as well. Doesn't want Paradox to get anything to work with. Exhibit pushes down, catches out Sign. But Texas running through his smoke. Fixes Dilution and Nation. Done Exhibit 1v2. It's very much doable. The last two players, they are split up. TP out, but right into the clutches of Tux. And Order, they already have a lead, and they just keep extending it.
It was nicely done by Paradox. They waited, but Order was just so passively. They know they don't have to go out. You saw them just holding about a line across where all three spike sites are on the map. They don't have to play aggressive. Yeah, they push a few players down from A into sewers because they know there's no one there. And by the time the Paradox makes their move, I mean, Autumn's there with the Blades. Even if the Blades are going to work out, the Operator's there as backup. It's just so difficult for Paradox to find a way through this Order defense. It's a tough nut to crack, and they just didn't bring one of those nutcracker things.
You know what? That just mentioned, I have no idea what it's actually called. As far as I'm concerned,
it's probably just a nutcracker. That's why it's called.
Oh, right, you're right. Nutcracker.
Why did they make an entire musical about the Nutcracker? Anyway.
Well, 3 ultimates still on the side of Order, and I don't think they've really had to invest any of it recently because they've just been having a casual cakewalk so far in the duels alone. The mechanical ability works out in their favor. Exempt may be able to get flashed into the B side, and Sign was already lying in wait. He heard the flashpoint coming. He saw it coming. He felt it coming. Tux finally aftershock to force Maz out into his crosshairs. And 2 players of Paradox already down and out for the counts. Not a single trade to come back. Only a little bit of damage to tag Sign. Now Texter. Well, gonna lock down the C-side, but Autumn from long confirms 2. Exhibit Delusion, and the game sense is very much on board for this player. He has a good idea of when the last one is. And now, oh, Nation does come out on top with the crab walk peak, but still 1v4. Tall order. Tall order.
Spike's on side as well. I get it. Yeah, Spike's on side as well, so little to no chance for Nation here. Just trying to extract as much damage as he can.
Oh.
Not that Order would be phased by it at this point. They've got enough credits to get them through the rest of the half.
Now, Nation, he keeps shoulder peeking, but as a result, they're chipping away at his health pool just ever so slightly. It was signed to confirm at the very end, though, padding the stats and charging up the Hunter's Fury a little bit more. Their order is up by 9. It's the last round of the half. Now, last night, they 10-2'd, I think, 13-2 Nebula. If this is a 13-1, that's just, unspeakable.
Yeah, feel bad for Paradox here. They don't even have enough to buy properly this round. A Bulldog, a couple of classics. Likely to be a couple of lighter, heavier weapons being picked up for them. And look at that light shields as well. So definitely looking like an 11-1 first half for Order. I mean, we saw that one round that Paradox was able to win. It was off the back of a Nico round. So maybe a little repeat performance here to close out the half.
Oh, now Hunter's Fury, that will basically help force space open, and Exempt, he dashes onto the site, takes control. No spike on him though, so can't even confirm the plant, and Disco with the utility stack. Oh, just bombs him out. And now Paradox, they're running the hell out of dodge, trying to get over to the A side. Exempt, he's already TP'd to heaven, but they are very much aware. They heard TP from a mile away. Sign, first player on the engagement, has a bigger gun. Recon arrow available soon, and never mind that, they still have Autumn locking down the A sites. Oh well, he does get taken down, had a pistol out. Exhibit, the sound was heard, but picks up the operator. Go glass cannon at this point. Because by God, Paradox needs it. 2 players get scanned. Nation with the wallbang penetration from the Guardian will confirm 1, and Sign the shot does. Also Delusion, so much difference. Time for another.
Spike down A.
The Cosmic Divider's out. The spike hasn't been planted. Nation with the Guardian 1v3. Now, here's to be a robot to land these headshots. Tux already lying in wait. They already have a good inkling of where he's playing. Oh, he exposes himself with the barrel of the gun. That's my question. Does it get spotted? Okay, good start. That's 1 out of 3 done. 2 out of 3. Nation, headshots in a row. Now he has to land the final headshot without taking a single hit. 10 seconds left. Nation, let's go, baby. And that's full prey to Texter, who's just lying in wait. Crosshair placement. He clicks. He doesn't have to flick. Order up by 10. We came close, though. We came close.
It was always going to be easy for Texter there. You know the time is running down. Nation's the one that has to make the move, and you know where the Cypher is thanks to those other 2 teammates giving away the enemy's position. They're a fantastic first half from Order. They're close here to finishing it up. I mean, if they take this Paradox, they absolutely need to win this pistol round. You can't give anything over to Order, and it not only do they need to win it, they need to win it decisively as well. It needs to be, look, if they're going to come back, it has to be multiple decisive rounds wins in a row. They just can't give away any kills. I mean, win the rounds are given. They can't take any deaths.
No, absolutely, but Order as well, with 10-round buffer, even if, say they lose the pistol, theoretically, they can absolutely force buy up just for the sake of it and have fun. You know how mechanically impressive these players are, and now they're on the attack on Haven, a more attack-favored map. They can just easily ape onto a site, confirm a few kills, and Paradox can't successfully retake versus whatever pistols or upgraded guns they have. It's not gonna happen. And now, it will be C-side after all. Paradox, rotation's already coming on. Texter gonna go for the spike plant. No, aftershock to come out, and Delusion tapping away. Ellis gets onto Disco for the trade back instantaneously from Sign, and the paint shells brings him down to 3 HP. Second from Maz, and so much flashes. Delusion is holding on for dear life. Autumn's on side. The spike comes plants at least yet another. Autumn confirms 1, confirms 2, confirms 3 from behind. The flashpoint, and there you go. The worst fears have come to fruition. Exempt down to 1v3. Has a Jet, has a Sheriff. No armor to work with. He has to land every single shot hard. The shock dart from Sign as well, just holding him back just a little bit more. The spike steadily ticking away, almost a half point now. Autumn and Sign, both on the angle. Exempt starts off well, but Autumn cleans up with the 4K. And now I think this is the final nail in the coffin. 12-1. SMG buys for Order. Paradox, you have to force.
Now you don't have much to force with though. You're really choosing here between at least an upgraded gun or taking armor. And it looks like so far most of the players are opting for that armor. They want to make themselves as hardy as possible, hoping that the sheriffs can get things done. Exempt, Marshall in hand. They're going to have to be contending with Autumn. It looks like both jets, at least for the moment, hovering around towards this A side. So we could see a tiny little sniper duel. What potentially will be the last round of the map.
I like how Paradox are thinking, except I think the timing is just a little bit off. As you can see earlier on, you had oh sorry, that wasn't Paradox, that was a Order actually. They instantly threw out the utility and the fault line towards the sewers to basically guarantee if any jet was going to be picked up the Marshall, it could confirm the kill. And also just spraying shots, he can't afford to waste it. His aim is sharp enough to make use of what's left. And the long range dink from Texter as well. Dilution gets taken down to lick of HP. And Texter doesn't even flinch, confirms it at distance. And there you go, there's your sniper duel. Autumn over Exempt, jet difference. Nation now has got huge for his team. Misses the initial headshot, gets taken down by Sign. That's the last two players of Paradox. The man's on side with the Marshall, missing the shots, and Disco, he's going on a roll now. Might confirm the last one. Exhibit will get the kill instead, but Tux with the fast pick off of the utility. Damage, 13-1, Order to take map 1 handily.
What a performance out of Order. Autumn in particular leading the way. He already had the Blade Storm 2 rounds into that second half. It was just a nice little TLDR for how well they played them out. Look at that, 20 for 5 for the Jet. Insane performance coming out from them. Far and away the best player on that team. I mean, but what else can you say about that Order? Absolute class coming through and showing why they are the team to beat.
Undeniable. No matter what you do, oh gosh, Order, they will arrive. And look, Autumn, you know, having the time of his life. 5 first bloods, getting the frags. Everyone of Order, double digits. Meanwhile, on the side of Paradox, look, they only got 1 round, understand, but not a single player able to break double. Guys, regardless, we will be going for a short breather as we can give the teams a little bit of a time to relax and before they go into map 2, which is Ascent, I believe. Ascent. Now that's going to be one hell of a show. Small map, mechanical skills coming clutch there. And executes, of course, and Order looking very healthy. So guys, stick around. Don't go away just yet. See you soon. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. That was a really short break that had to be cut short, actually, because the teams, they don't need a break, and honestly, we don't really need to either. Our throats are feeling pretty good tonight, so we'll be going to Game 2 right now, which will be Ascent, Order versus Paradox. Now, I understand that apparently Order, Ascent isn't their best map, but it is Order after all.
No. You think that, but so far this year they're actually 2-2 on this map. Yeah, tiny sample size, but it is clearly their least best match, least successful map going forward so far. Paradox with the new roster, of course, not having the large breadth of history that Order does, but last night they played over Palace Strike and they're able to take that pretty handily 13-4 on this map. So if there was any map they were going where they would be able to at least put up a fighting chance, maybe even take a map away from Order, it would be here on Ascent.
Well, I absolutely do hope so, because Order, they put up a really convincing win in Map 1, 13-1. Now, the teams are ready, so we should be loading into the Agent Select real soon. Map 2, Ascent, guys. Let's get it.
Just looking, I wouldn't be surprised to see something fairly standard coming out of Order here. They typically run double duelist, double duelist, smoker, initiator, sentinel. For the side of Paradox, I guess that's a little more up in the air. They sometimes they bring one. Yeah, last night they only played the Jet, and of course the ever-present Jet that just appears anywhere and everywhere. Ooh, it looks like Order's going to be trying out the Astra here on this map.
Well, this will be the first time I think I've personally seen Astra played on Ascent. So if there's some nasty strats cooked up, we could be seeing some really interesting antics.
It also, in fairness to Order, it also could be the fact that they felt so comfortable after that first map win that they maybe want to bring Astra just to try stuff out here, give it a little run in professional and a competitive tournament environment, particularly, and see how they feel about it. Because, I mean, you coming off that map 1 win, you're feeling pretty good about yourselves. You think, but you know what? Maybe let's give it a go.
Well, give it a go. They shall, and as you can see, all the agents are locked in. Paradox. Ascent could be a map they are more familiar with, because in fact a lot of the players, well, most players really, Ascent is one of those maps that as long as you have good mechanical skill, you can at least get a few trades going and the frags. But once again, I always say this, it's an execute heavy map, so whichever team really they have the better coordination, they will come out on top inevitably. So far, Paradox, they ain't having it, I'll be honest.
No, to go back to your point before about Astra being played on Ascent, has not been played so far, at least at the round of 16.
Oh!
So,
wow, no, that's interesting. Ascent may be one of those maps that just no one really wants to deal with, because... Oh,
sorry, Ascent has been played, Astra has not been played on this map.
Ah, right, that combination in specific.
Correct, it's just been all Omen all the time, which, no real surprise here. Omen, such a popular pick, such a powerful pick, particularly with that paranoia. So it's especially, coming out of Paradox, you don't want to fiddle around. You want to stick with what you know. Exhibit with one opening up with the single Omen.
Now, Order, they have all 5 players really stacked towards over to the B site. Astra still gets dumped down. Recon arrow from Dilution, it basically reveals all of them. Sign retaliates with one of its own. And Maz, attacking through a smoke, does get some damage. Exempt starts off with one onto awesome Jet on Jet. But now Dilution has the whole world ahead of him. Text that will take him down. Disco holding the side angle with the classic. A single right click will finish the job. Sign being the bait along with Tux. Just trying to scout an intel for Disco. Finally a dash on. Exempt from behind. And Disco, he's just cleaning up at this point. Man's by himself. Can't probably do this, but the utility from Disco. I thought he would come out on top of Maz. Very healthy. 125 HP. He even has a ghost in front of him, but Texter so low. 4 bullets for Maz. He has to land the shots. Opts for the reload, expecting perhaps Texter to be on the stairs, but it's not the case. Time is running out. He has at least the fault line to work with should he choose to use it. Texter biding time, being so patient in the gravity well. It should come out right now. Yes, indeed it does. Maz has to land the shot. Texter with the fragile. Maz takes one to the body, but he will be able to confirm the defuse, even though it's ticking quite fast. Oh, okay. 69 milliseconds. Nation's already fast on the comments there. Paradox, they do take the pistol round.
That was clinching me in all kinds of places there. Be a brilliant play there. I like the way that Maz was able to survive in the gravity while moving around, yet threw off their aim, but I think threw off Texas' aim a little bit as well. Allowed them to get the job done on the Astra. But that's a great start. Yes, it's 1 round for Paradox, but they're already equal what they had on Haven. Get this next round in. You're looking at 3 rounds, you're looking at 4 rounds, and things already looking brighter for you.
They got 13-1 on previous map, and now on defense they already have 1 round, so at least they can't do any worse. Now that sounds like I'm stepping on their toes, but I'm just saying, just like the pure numbers-wise. Regardless, ultimately dashes onto the side with the shorty of all guns. At this distance, though, Nation easily will hit the advantage and the turret as well. It's tagging down Autumn. Nation hasn't really had to fire a single shot just yet. Confirms the kill. And Order, the falling one at a time. What do you really expect? They have classics as SMGs on the side of Paradox all the way. Nation finishes off his clone. Order down to the last 2 players. Texta at least manages to take down 1 before going down from the turret of all things. Disco headshot to Delusion, but it was inevitable that Paradox came out on top in this round at the very least.
Yeah, a lot of work being done by Nation there. Order chose to hit the start with the Killjoy, and of course all that utility going to make things very difficult to get in. They didn't really have anything to deal with the turret. You saw that, I believe Tuck's turret was also out of the point, but just getting shot the side from Nation's own, and yeah, nicely played from the Killjoy. That's the kind of role that Killjoy likes to fill. You can anchor down a site, put utility out, you saw them holding at the back. Autumn went in, but only a shorty in hand. Couldn't push himself into the Killjoy without being sprayed down, and eventually just got beaten down, I guess, death by 1,000 paper cuts for the Jet. But now you're going to see Order come in, rifles in hand, Sign just light shields. Might be a little dicey for them, but of course, Order we expect to be playing the range advantage. See no presence in mid coming out from Paradox. They know they're not going to be able to play the long-range games, so they're just holding on site. Yeah. See Delusion, at least holding that mid-entry to market from Defender Spawn.
The amount of utility right now you have on the B side from Paradox, it may very well buy enough time for a fast rotation and at least keep Order occupied for quite some time. But once again, like you mentioned earlier, Order, they have the gun advantage and hence the range advantage exempt. Making sound. Now, after that recon arrow, it will allow him to push aggressively over to A-Long. May be able to confirm some map control for his team, but signed. Already on the engagement. Our drone as well. This is great coming out from higher tier teams as well to see, you know. Always use utility. Doesn't check wine, but as you can see, exempt. Yeah. He wants no business peeking. He can't take the risk of having another player.
Order's got mid, they might catch the rotation.
Delusion! He managed to spot out the back line, but the time just doesn't work out. That distance with the Sheriff. Finally, the B site's pinch is coming through, and the paint shells as well. It forces Delusion back. He gets taken down even by Disco. I think it was the gravity well suck. Audio player down. Paradox. There's 2 players lying on the back side. 10 seconds left. Black has got down right now. As long as they can deny the plant, it's very much possible. Maz 1-for-1, and the trade backs, and Spike cannot be planted. All Paradox has to do is survive, and Maz, he picks up all 3 kills regardless. It doesn't matter. Order took the first fire round, and much to my surprise, they got shut down.
They did, and what a play by Maz. They're holding firm, able to bring it through for their team. In particular, though, we talked about that play up near mid. Delusion caught the rotation coming through from Order. Saw the players in market heading towards the B side. So the dark cover from Exhibit straight away sweeping across the map, blocking off that doorway, and it allowed time for the rotation. Yeah, Delusion walks into the paint shells. It was nicely placed by Disco, but in the end, the timing worked out for Paradox to put them another round win on the board. And once again, back onto the eco for Order. Texter will be bringing a Spectre in. But we are going to see a little more forward pressure, at least in mid from Delusion. Backs out for the moment. But once again, a very passive play from them. They're not willing to play too aggressive early in these rounds.
Yeah, well, even though Order, they are on the back foot in terms of guns and economy, you can't count them out because players that mechanically skilled. And now also the Blade Storms, you saw what he did on map 1. Well, we may just see a reenactment. Cosmic Wall could come up as well on off of an eco round. That's not something you see every day. Texas in the smoke and Exhibit going balls deep. Will confirm the kill onto Autumn. The Cloud Burst not working out in his favor. Won't get vulnerable, but Order, they won't aggress. Exempt is already there on backup, holding the angle down with the big rifle. Of course, you do have Nation by himself, though, trying to lock down the angle. And Disco, the ultimate doesn't actually get anything. Nation holding down a site for 3. Texter picks up a Spectre for himself. And the 1-for-1 trade. Order, they go down. Paradox, 4 players standing.
Good lord, great play from Paradox. They read Order so well there. Yeah, they knew that the Order had to, the ones that had to come to them, not only on attack, on the eco round as well. They can just wait and bide their time. Nation just casually spraying down the opposition. Also, like to point out, Exhibit, fantastic play there, holding down that tree error. Yeah, got caught in the gravity well, but able to throw the paranoia through, keep themselves alive. And all that after shutting down the Blaze Storm from Autumn. So brilliant play out of the Omen. We're looking forward to more of that coming through. And finally, we're seeing an Operator come online. Exempt pokes out a mid. Lots of pressure in that area, actually, from Paradox for the first time in the match.
Well, they showed pressure early round, and Order, they retaliate with pressure of their own. 3 players already angled to a short Exhibit. He managed to catch Awesome off guard once, but can he do it again? Utility this time will be able to back Order up, and Exhibit, same story. He will get concussion this time, manages to escape barely with his life, and while Order, they're starting to take control of Garden, swarming up. The glass has been broken. They don't know that Awesome is up this close, potentially. 2 players of Paradox holding down the angle, and Dilution from the flank on short manages to confirm one onto from behind. The smokes are gone for Order, but the trade backs and forth. It's Wall Street right now, judging by how many trades are coming out. A 3-on-3, Spike has been planted. Paradox, they have to get on the defuse. Awesome dashing around. If he confirmed that kill, I would have lost my marbles, but it was Dilution to come out on top, as it should be. And the Killjoy lockdown to come out as well. They can honestly just stick the defuse at this point. But Signs, this is their chance. Killjoy and Molly ever on the Spike. Dilution's gonna burn till it's dead. So it's a 2-on-2. Spike at least gone halfway. It's very much doable for Paradox, but now the Killjoy lockdown is gone earlier, and the numbers advantage has been lost. Exempt by himself, 1v2, and Tux. Oh, he doesn't even have to show his whole body. The wall bang confirms it. Order, they finally pick up the first round on the board.
Battle of the Killjoys there, both of them pulling out, but there's Nanites and Tux that comes out on top. But I really like what Nation did there, threw down the lockdown, and then Signed is forced into a choice. Do you use the Hunter's Fury to defend the Spike, or use it to defend the lockdown? They use it to take out the lockdown. You know you've still got the Nano Swarm sitting on the Spike to buy a little bit of time, and it's just enough for Order to eke that one out. So Paradox, a little unlucky there, not to go away with that round, but Order, they need to make sure they're not too rattled by it. They can keep putting the pressure on Order, because so far it's working out for them.
Well,
right
so
now,
far,
a big A hit coming down from Order. All
man,
players
as you can see, Utility early on just to slow Order down a little bit, but look, Awesome how he slows players down. Great flashpoint. Exempt is blinded. Everyone's blinded, and Exempt coming out on top. That is one managed to get the kill. Cloudburst is out to buy time for him. He's holding on for dear life. Rolling Thunder from the defenders. Paradox is swimming into the site now. The site hasn't even been taken by Order. No retake is really necessary at this point. Already a 3-man advantage. They can sit tight and just wait. The onus is now on Order. They have the Killjoy lockdown, but do they use it in a 2v5?
No, chances are you're not going to be using it in this circumstance. You save it for another round. At this point, you can tend to just go and get on site, try and do a little bit of damage to the Paradox economy. Not completely flush with cash. At least have one round to buy in. Of course, if they win this round, they'll be out buying in next round. But just trying to do as much damage as they can. But it's not really going to work out for them. Signed, of course. Doesn't even have the spikes, so no opportunity here to even rotate towards a Paradox. Know it. They're just biding their time.
Sign, he has a rough idea of where the players are. The wallbang initiative and great dash away from Exempt. Sign will get the kill. Mad's on the trade. Paradox to lose one player. And the best thing is, you know, over towards the B side, so we saw Nation move through. I'm pretty sure he picked up the ult orb as well. So it's a great start, you know, just getting those small wins. And overall, it builds up over time. As you can see, Paradox now 4-round lead, 3 ultimates online. Tux, yeah, you have the Killjoy lockdown, but the entire team on a half buy.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see if they use this. You know, if they get a couple of early picks, they may use the lockdown just to retrieve the weapons to give themselves a fighting chance coming into this round.
Hit them hard.
But it'll require something special coming from the side of Order. This time they are going to full rush again. All of them stacked up on that B site. Not going to have to deal with the recon arrow from Dilution spotting them out early. But they are making a little play towards mid. A dicey gamble there. If they put those, able to get those players in there, they're going to have to deal with that Vandal coming through from Dilution. He knows the plays there. The rotations are on. Maz pops around the corner. Beautiful blind. Disco down.
Yeah, Maz, however, the utility stack is back, and the whoa, the Nano Swarm as well. Utility, Maz being flushed out of the corner, doesn't matter. Flashpoint gets one onto Awesome. Sign is so low. Aftershock from Maz. Sign has to push out and takes the main spot out. Maz indeed will confirm the kill. Order the man advantage. It's been equalized. Takes up for 3 with the Spectre of all guns as well. Tux. Killjoy lockdown, you could use it now. Indeed, he has to use it now to flush out Exhibit back site. This is Exhibit's chance to go aggressive, but Order is being so patient, waiting, because they know Exhibit has to make a play anytime soon. But once the Killjoy lockdown comes out, Exhibit, he needs backup from his teammate. Regardless, hits him for 4 with the Spectre. Exhibit does escape, but now Order don't have to commit to B anymore. They can just run over to the A side, get the spike planted. Texter holding down the flank off of the skin of the teeth. In fact, I'm not even too sure if I can even say that. They had pistols, but they turned things around off of a single Spectre. The only SMG buy on the team, by the way. Texter going huge for Order.
Tex has been able to pick up a gun, Tux has not, but the Sheriff in Tux's hand, you're not particularly worried about it, especially against one player. Exhibit now a lot of work to do.
Enemy remaining.
Doesn't have the paranoia, has some dark covers available. Taking care of Tux is a good start, but now it's going to be Phantom v Phantom Digital. Tux Exhibit checking the corners. A beautiful ace from Tex. They're keeping order in this one. They step a little bit closer to Paradox.
Well, oh look, Texter, my god, what a stand. Honestly, he has had enough of these shenanigans. His whole team bought half armor and pistols. He gets the Spectre and he gives Paradox the works flat out. And this will put Order obviously back on the board. Economy, I won't say it's struggling, but it's definitely decent, especially on Texter. And the Cosmic Divide available. Expect to see Order play off of it for a crazy mad execute.
Yeah, these back and forward rounds will play havoc with the teams. You lose at this point. If you lose 2 rounds in a row, you're going to be in the dumps.
Right there.
So far, Paradox hasn't really had to feel the pinch here. Aside from Exempt at the moment, but the Blades are going to come up trumps against Sign. So a nice start for Paradox. A bit of early aggression in A main.
But now the
rest
take
of Order over on B. Yeah, they're going for it.
Indeed. Texter, of course, leading the team, and Disco jumping shenanigans, flying through the air. Nation gonna try and get a kill or 2. He does actually confirm all into Disco through a wallbang of sorts. Texter very close, goes for the reload, Nation, and he will go down as a result. Man advantage once again equalized, and Maz, doesn't quite spot out Autumn, who had the advantage. Except still has the Blaze Storm to play with, but Tux and Texter not quite on site just yet, and the spike is in Texter's hands. Exempt, this is his chance to shine potentially. But they have the ultimates, and they don't have the players anymore. Autumn gets one of this Exhibit, Tux to finish off. Order, they're definitely back in it, down by 2.
Well played there from Order. They lose the player early, but able to respond well. Hitting that B site with the superior numbers, able to get the kills they need. And you just see the power of Astra there. Texter is just laying stars down all across the map. There's so much smoke cover. Even when that dissipates, you've got those little gravity whirls as well. It makes a retake from the defender so much more difficult. Because, I mean, you think about it, Omen, Brimstone, you lay down a couple of smokes, you've only got one for later on. But Astra, she's still got smokes for days, even after you've hit the site and planted the spike.
You know, one thing as well, let's realize, Paradox, they were on a really worse buy, but Dilution opens up with one initial pick. Autumn to strike back, the consistent slow peaks, and now Autumn gets 2. For all the teams watching right now, you cannot challenge this guy without double peeking him at the same time. Autumn, he will definitely get the initial kill and guarantee the second. You cannot fault him. Exhibit, the last player on the A side for Paradox. They'll just hold it down with the Sheriff, and Autumn, oh dear me, if he landed a headshot just then, things will have gone absolutely ape. And Tux works up mid, takes down Nation. Paradox on the last legs in this round. You do have Delusion with the Guardian, so if he can get more headshots with it, like he did early round, they may have a chance. But 0.5% odds? I don't know.
Yeah, Paradox still waiting to see where this hit's going to be coming down. Of course, we can see going across to the B side, only Dilution there. See if it doesn't have the ultimate online, so we'll have to make their way across manually. They're going to be get caught coming through mid. Autumn just lurking.
30 seconds left.
Okay. He wanted the gun,
Exhibit.
but Autumn was like wagging his finger. No. You don't steal. You can't be a grave robber. Not today, buddy. And that's just brutal as well. The Killjoy turret, it reveals Dilution where he's playing, and Tux with the swing off of it. And you just can't get the flick fast enough. Tux, you already had the crosshair placement on board. Order, they're 1 behind now.
Indeed, and after that start from Paradox, you're feeling really good. You go up 4 rounds in the lead, and now Order clawing it back, and the concern's got to be creeping in. So we had a lead, we had a comfortable lead. Yeah, we lose around here, we lose around there. We're still comfortable. But now Order breathing down your necks. The pressure has got to be mounting for Paradox. Silver linings, you've at least you've done way better than Haven, but if you let it get away from you now, it's just gonna crush you, and I guess it give you plenty of time to go back and practice for Open Pulse 2.
Texter already deploys utility and Order. I thought they're going to use the Killjoy lockdown, something to guarantee the side take, but Autumn goes aggressive now, and that's what I'm talking about. You need the double stack to counter Autumn. He can't get two at once. He doesn't know who to shoot. He get the one-on-one, it's easy. He'll win. And Dilution eats that shock dart to the face. Now Tux, he's in a rough position. He has the Killjoy lockdown, and then Cosmic Divide comes out. Dilution's main way to the backside already. Paradox, Exempt confirms the trade. 1-for-1 so far. Paradox, the man advantage, and defense comes potentially from Exempt. Disco spraying through, and of course, when you're fragile, one shot will finish the job, and Disco a second as well. That's where the showstopper comes in clutch. Texter throwing down more and more utility gravity wells potentially. He still has everything on board. There you go. There's a gravity well, and Nation trying to get the kill onto Disco. Whoa, one coming out on top, but 3 coming out from the Disco. The Frag King himself, 4 with the classic. You cannot stop that man. You have Autumn, who's a young kid, gets on the site, gets the initial opening frags for his team, but then you have Disco, the big guns, the big daddy, to hold down post plant and lock down a site, those multi-frags consistently.
Yeah, smart play from Order there as well. Once they got the site spike planted, they just plunged for A main. You know, you've got the utility you need. You get a little bit of spray through the smoke from Autumn, takes care of one. The showstopper's there. Disco can just hold the angle, looking at this spike, and force Paradox to come to them. And there's Order's able to draw level Paradox onto an eco. So Order looking good to definitely go up here, maybe even take a couple of rounds in a row and put themselves with a decisive lead at the end of the first half.
Oh, Nation, I like that fast swing, and of course it takes pretty much 10 to be able to land that click. Paradox, like I said earlier, they're on the eco and Exhibit. Oh dear me, turns around to throw down a Dark Shroud. Tux to get the kill instantly. He takes advantage of every situation. Exempt manages to escape with his life, but Tux with the wall bang won't let Exempt escape with his life. Paradox down 2 players, not a single lick of damage to be dealt on the side of Order.
And Exhibit unlucky that the Tux was so close. Would have seen the dark cover come out, and really that's just the story of this round. Wrong time, wrong place for the members of Exhibit. Yeah, you got a couple of people retrieving weapons, but this late into the half, you're not really concerned about it. You're going to be buying to the next round anyway. And they don't even get much damage done once they get into that mid position.
No, I was going to say, actually, rare missed shot by Disco. The players weren't even looking at him, and then the crazy mad flick with the Sheriff confirms the headshot regardless. They picked up a gun, got a few kills. But Order, they swarm on the last 2 players like a pack of hungry hyenas. Now there you go, Temp0ral. There's the lead you were talking about from Order. Economy, very strong on at least 2 players. Texter, Signs, Tux. My god, they won't have any financial concerns for a while. But Paradox...
Last round of the half.
Oh, it's last round of the half, indeed! Ultimates on both sides. Use them, boys. Exempt. Open up onto Autumn potentially, but you cannot count out Autumn.
Nice shock dart there. It's going to force Exempt back. Autumn still continues to hold the angle. Exempt hasn't quite backed away.
Gravity
what
well.
a combo play. Oh! Beautiful combination between the Astra and the Razor. That's the power of those little gravity wells.
Yeah, the fragility, and then Disco along with Texter, they definitely have some angles or the calls at least rehearsed to a T. Throw it out, and Exempt actually misses that shot into Disco. Is definitely a missed opportunity. Disco, he won't make the same mistake twice. When saying that, he doubles down for more punishment. Finally, the Killjoy lockdown gets used, and the counter as well from Paradox. Nation got to hold this angle down. Autumn sitting steady, but of course, Sign had the Hunter's Fury, will destroy it. Now, Nation, I don't think he will get detained. 2 players of Paradox get detained, actually, and Order, it's pretty much free pickings onto the site. Autumn missed the initial right click, pulls out the Vandal, confirms those 2 kills. Order, Disco to clean up. And, oh, dear me, it's all down to Maz now by himself. The Rolling Thunder doesn't even tag anyone. Autumn, 4 kills. Here's the footsteps. They're up by 2 going to the second half.
That's just unfair. Autumn misses the plates, and so that's alright. The players are just there. They're unarmed. They're just training dummies at this point. Nice casual gun down for the Jet. But brilliantly done by Order. They didn't let that early half deficit deter them, and they've come back so strong, just limiting limiting Paradox to that 1 round after they got back onto their winning ways. And you just gotta feel for the side of Paradox. Things might be going the way of Haven at this point. Yeah, one bright spot perhaps in their match against Overpower Strike, they did 10-2 the first half, so we know they've got a great attacking half in them. The question is, can they The question is, did Order watch the VODs as they were alluding to in the match chat earlier? And if they do, are they ready for what Paradox is going to be throwing at them?
Well, maybe, but look, Order with such rehearsed, timing and coordination, as you can see earlier, they may not actually need it. But in saying that, Exempt opens up onto Texter. At least that's the smokes and Gravity Wells concussions gone for Order. Man advantage going for Paradox, and just absolute silence coming out from Order now, just waiting. I mean, absolute silence from Paradox. They got the initial frag, and they're waiting for Order to get aggressive, poke and prod.
Perhaps, but counting an Order being a little comfortable in the position, they'd be happy to go out and push out for the frags, but a team like this, is it going to be as aggressive as you might like as the attacking team in this situation? Awesome pushes forward, sees the turret, able to back away, but the rest of Paradox over on that A side of the map. It's coming down. Disco going to be retreating through the door. A couple of players there, but the rest of the defenders on their way in short order.
Yeah, Disco. Oh, he just gonna take it down. I think he peeked out towards the end of the Dark Shroud. Dilution to confirm. And Order, down by 2 players. Spike don't get planted by Dilution. The shot doesn't quite do anything. Exempt on the off angle gets another kill into Tux. And no trace come out from Order. You expect a team like this to be double peeking all the angles at once. At least Sign uses the recon arrow, reveals 1 player. But look, Paradox, they have at least 2 or 3 players stacked on the A site. The retake is going to be difficult. Awesome dashes on, gets taken out, and Paradox, wow, flawless round to come through. And the one behind Order now, this should basically guarantee at the very least even Stevens.
Indeed it should. We saw how well they played off that first half pissed around. He's hoping that they'll be able to repeat the effort here, because taking this round, yeah, it goes to 7, you maybe get a good chance in the bonus. You go to 8, yeah, all of a sudden Order's thinking, oh, maybe it isn't so easy. That first half, yeah, it was good, but it might not be enough for us.
Well,
Paradox.
Temp0ral actually, Paradox, they started off strong on both halves initially, but in Order, they always strike back towards the end. So this could be deja vu, potentially. Well, aggression towards mid coming out from Order. Exhibit to at least open up, and actually all 4 players remaining of Order, they're all stuck out mid, and Paradox, they take advantage of this situation, run over towards the A side. Nation's by himself now. This is a lot of pistols he's up against, running out ammo in the Spectre, and 1v3 now pulls out the Ghost, 1v4, good luck, but the turret may help him out. Disco just aping over, gets the kill, 4-on-4, they have 1 Spectre to work with at the very least, and they should have utility to play.
Did they even pick up that Spectre? I don't think they did. It's not, I'm just trying to find it.
It fell off the edge then.
Maybe it went off the edge. Wow. Unlucky for Order. Spike down. But look, so far they've made good use of their numbers, like tiny little hyenas or piranhas, perhaps, just tiny little biting force. It's going to be very difficult to hit this A site. All the players of Paradox there. At best, I'll be looking for a couple of exit frags, maybe.
Well, Disco, he tried. Awesome. Can't quite go too far on 6 HP, and it's just a clean sweep right now. Sign will have to die to the Spike himself. Well, Paradox, they tie things up, 7-7, but now Order. This is when the big guns come out, and this is their chance to strike back on the defense and show us what they've got planned.
Just the one big gun for the side of Paradox. Dilution brought the Vandal into that round, able to carry it through, thankfully. So far, looking like a standard setup coming out of Paradox Nation, just hovering on that B side, stopping anyone from pushing out, potentially getting around behind the Paradox team as they move towards this A site. Another team really playing for mid as well. Exhibit's going to be hovering there, looking to make their way through Catwalk.
Oh, but A-Long, Exempt, he's pushed his way out, and there's a hail of bullets going his way. Surprisingly, comes out relatively unscathed, but the ultimate will should be taken by Order. They have 3 players there, so you might as well go for it. I mean, Paradox, man, these colors, it's glitching out. Honestly, Rito, please fix. Regardless, Awesome. He's the one on the receiving end, but Texter already on the flank going aggressive. This is the poking and prodding coming out from Order. The trade back from Paradox. Man advantage. Neither side, but Order, they've lost this source of smokes and gravity wells.
They won't have any cover for a potential retake coming through, but for that to be the case, Paradox will have to first get the spike down. Heading over, the spike itself is heading over towards A, but the rest of the players split across the map. So, I mean, there's so much room for here for Order to play. And you're seeing another rotation, Autumn this time, the one coming up behind. Yeah, as Paradox, you're going to be getting onto that A site relatively for free,
left.
but... Oh, no. Oh, Delusion turns around and had the spike as well. What a position by Autumn.
Oh!
Farrell just doesn't even see the rest of it and
enemy
spins around, gets the kill. Oh no, Nation.
And the
what a
dig
work
just...
to do.
Oh, God. Autumn. This is what happens when you try to challenge Autumn one at a time. Look, I said it early on, and Autumn definitely shows up. He does it again. One-on-one. Imagine
To
having
be
to aim duel
fair,
Autumn.
that wasn't necessarily Paradox taking the 1v1s. That was just Autumn in an amazing position, and it's Paradox not watching their back. They think they've got plenty of coverage, but they're not seeing anyone in mid. Yeah, you had Exhibit posted up towards that market area, but they're not watching the entry from Catwalk around the back through the attacker's spawn. And there you go, Order back in the lead once again. Both teams are buying rifles into this round. You're going to have the Hunter's Fury available for Delusion. Maybe perhaps a bit of freedom to use it. Tux only on 2 towards that lockdown, so you can be a little more free with the Hunter's Fury as Delusion if you don't want to save it to counter that Killjoy ult.
I think a trend we're seeing on the side of Order is that they always send Autumn, the young kid, out as the sacrificial lamb, essentially. Well, I say that, and Exempt, he's the one to get taken down initially. Recon arrow to come through. Hunter's Fury tanks the first shot to the chest and won't get hit a second time. Now, as I was saying earlier, Autumn, he's always the player to push out aggressively. As he is Jet, he can afford to dash away, while the rest of the team, they are free to play elsewhere on the map. Paradox, they do manage to take mid control. Dilution, you can see, working through market. And the speed split should be coming out. 2 players locking it down, though. Tux. And, of course, Disco. Can they anchor down the sights? Exhibit opens up at the 1-for-1 trade, and Nation with the instant clapback. Numbers are even, but at least Paradox, they have side control. Shock dart from Sign a little bit early, as the spike wasn't quite getting planted just
30
yet.
seconds left.
And the problem is
Spike
Dilution,
planted.
very low, and Order definitely not a team to overlook this angle. Flashpoint, that's good though, and it will allow Dilution to get a peek, but Sign, he's holding on for dear life. Shock dart, he ekes it, but he's not quite enough to kill him. Autumn from behind strikes, and the man advantage goes away to Order. Maz and Nation, last 2 players, they may have some utility to play with, but how much? Autumn, as you can know, he still has full utility. The jet dash even, he can updraft and dash onto the side, be the space, be the human flashbang for the Order needs. May not even need to do it after all, as Maz gets the kill. Nation on the side, all down to the last player, Texter, who manages to clean up Maz and Nation regardless. They were all tagged so low. Texter, plenty of time to defuse, and Order, they take the 9th round.
Oh, Paradox cut it so quickly. You see that less than 3 seconds left on the clock. If they just held their nerve a tiny bit longer, Order would have had to come to them. Yeah, Texter gets the final kills, which, I mean, honestly, for Texter as well, finishing those final 2 kills in that quick succession is absolutely crucial for them. They're able to do it. I mean, Paradox, it's a game of timing here. If the players are a little further apart, they're not able to be sprayed down in that one spray by Texter. If they're able to just hide a little longer, things go a little differently for them. But I mean, Order just showing that extra level of composure coming into these retakes. Absolute masterclass.
Now Order, there go, masterclass, 3 players, Gravity well, they go for the peaks, the firing squad, and Paradox, they absolutely just fall prey. Exhibit the only player able to get a single trade back. Maz will fall as well, had the Spectre to work with. It's down to Lucky last Nation by himself, and Disco, he's hungry and thirsty to confirm the kill. Indeed, he does. Almost a flawless round to come out from Order, and that's double digits.
Unfortunate timing there for their Nation. That Astra smoke cleared just while Disco was peeking out into that grassy area. As you said, double digits for Order. They're closing in on that progress into the round of 8. Round of 8, that's a weird thing to say. Quarterfinal. No, this is the quarterfinals, isn't it?
Round of 8?
Oh, yes,
you
round
know
of 16.
what? Yeah, you're right.
Round of 16 was yesterday. That makes, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the results from the round of 16. It's confusing the hell out of me. This is the quarterfinals here. So they're 3 rounds away from a semi-final, but I spent a lot of time on that point. That was dumb.
You know, one thing I want to mention actually early is that Sign, he's still sitting on 3 kills, and this is this late into the game. Well, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, but hey, you don't really have to get kills when you have players like Autumn and, you know, Tux and Texter clutching out huge rounds like that. Autumn just popping off, 20 kills already. And Sign, just the, you know, the utility backbone, get info for his team, and as long as you win the game, that's what matters.
Exactly, you're playing on a team with 2 duelists over there just to set them up. Give them all the intel they need, they will burst onto site and gun down their opposition. Sign is just there to clean up in case things go wrong.
And Paradox...
Right now,
sorry, please.
Yeah, they've... it's a lot of they've got that control on mid. They've got players on B, but the rotations are coming through. It's like Order is reading them like a book at the moment. They suspect that things are up. They're not seeing anything over on the A side, and of course you've got all that Killjoy utility. Oh, Sign! What a recon nation!
Sign was just lying in wait. You know, at least Sign, he has nowhere to run because Autumn's already taken his angle, and Sign, he's gonna have to tank the L. One player detained. It will be him. Autumn has to save his life, or else Exempt looks at the easiest 2 frags of his life, and indeed Exempt does. Autumn, man, how could you let that happen to Signs? And now Paradox, they confirm the spike plant man advantage. The Cosmic Divide is available for Order, however, so it depends how they want to cut the sites into 2.
Maz needs to be able to take this trade.
Oh.
Can't let Texter get in here. There's going to be a star there. Oh, Maz is just out of it. Texter knows that, not pops around the corner. The Dash was able to take down Maz.
Now, he's cutting the site in half, but the frag's already happening. It's 2-on-2. Disco gets 2 for himself, and the Showstopper... What? I don't think the Showstopper can actually go through the wall, and Exempt probably thought the same. He thought he was safe behind it, and somehow Disco gets the kill. So, that's a really interesting interaction.
Does the wall stop the projectile, but doesn't stop the explosion, the splash damage? So maybe fire at the floor and the splash? Yeah. That is something, or we go back and have a look at it. Maybe there's like a foot poking through and it's enough to take care of the problem, but unfortunately there from Paradox. I mean, wow. Yeah, you sacrificed Delusion there. Exempt almost made it work for them, but at the end of the day, Order just too strong so far.
Look, Temp0ral.
Gonna have a timeout.
I said earlier, you know, a toilet break actually from the players on Paradox. I said earlier, like, even though you have, you know, the players on Order who are the utility players, Sign, Tux, and Texter, pretty much, as soon as you have Disco or Autumn on the retakes, it's a very dangerous situation, especially Disco. He saves so much utility for the retakes when they're on defense. You notice how he's not using too much, like, say, boom bots or the paint shells early round to do damage. There's just no point. Save it. Well, I say that, and he's already prepping to throw paint shells, but he's saving it for the retake, and as a result, Disco confirms a few kills and pulls out the ultimate at the very end of the day. Kaboom, done, dusted.
I mean, as a player like Disco, you sometimes, the way they're playing, you can invest that paint shot at the start of the round. You know you're going to get it back a couple of kills later.
That's also true.
There. The timer is coming off pause, and not much, at least ultimate-wise, to work with both teams. Just the Blaze Storms for both Jets. You got a couple of other players, and a kill or an orb away, an ultimate point away from the ultimates as well.
Oh, but also...
But things looking... I mean, a tough ask for Paradox here, sorry. They are buying into this round. They've got the maximum loss bonus, but they lose it. Match point towards Order, and they may not be able to go full into it.
Exactly, my point I was going to say. So far, 1-for-1 trades, thankfully, Texas opens onto Exhibit, but that's a huge blow already to Paradox. They've lost their smoker, which means they are going to be pushing a site dry. At least they have 1 ultimate available to use, but look, Texter still being a menace, hanging around, stares into the wall for some reason, and Delusion gets the clean headshot into the side of his head. Order down a player, and Paradox, this may be their chance to hang on.
Well, they've seen what there is on offer at the A site. The team is going to move away from it. And at the moment, they'd only have to contest with Sign. So, curious play by Order. They've got all the Killjoy utility over there. They're still leaving Disco. They think the A site hit is going down. But now they're thinking better of it. 40 seconds left on the clock. They know Paradox doesn't show their face in about the next 10 seconds. The rotate will be able to come through.
Oh, but you know, actually, from Paradox, the read is right because there's so much utility in the hands of Tux. Tux is a killjoy on the A side. That's definitely not where you want to go. And that Rolling Thunder come out, Sign, it's going to have a hard time. Actually, dodges the Rolling Thunder off the skin of his teeth. The Odin now, 100 bullets in that big magazine, may be the key to holding down the B site. First play on engagement, exempts. Oh, we'll take him down, but Disco, the paint shells from so far away that Kobe gets the trade back instantaneously. 2v3. Spike will get planted in the nick of time. And now Order. They don't have any explosive utility to necessarily get on the site. No flashes especially. But there's a flash in the hands of Maz. It will blind Nation. He's by himself now. And then the bolt line Disco is stunned. Nation has to confirm it at the very least. It's not him who gets a delusion. The back of the head executes Disco. Now, but Tux has the Killjoy lockdown. Dumps it down. 1v2, however, it's very much possible. Oh, that's very lockdown invested. But pulls it away and 1-for-1 trades. And this is what it takes for Paradox to get the win over Order.
Geez, you think when they follow, they put the Rolling Thunder through the point, they're not able to back it up quickly enough. Signs able to stay alive. It also gives some time for the defenders to come around, but they finally able to pull out a round win. Paradox, very dicey for them, and they've invested quite a bit into there. They built up the Rolling Thunder. They built up the Hunter's Fury as well. But yeah, now look at this. They've at least saved themselves a match point. Even though they won, it was digital. It was costly for them. They're not going to be able to full bite into this round. So they're just on a nice stage. They need to string 2 or 3 rounds together, not only to keep themselves alive in this match, but to make sure they've got the economy that if things go from bad to worse, they've got what they need to face down match point.
Early on, actually, we saw Autumn along with Exams blow both jets, pulling out the blades, and just missing all of them, realistically. Now, Autumn, really close range, doesn't quite spot out Delusion, gets taken down as a result. The man advantage to Paradox again, but however, Sign, the Hunter's Fury may be used to get a trade back or at least secure a some damage for his team. As you can see where he's playing right now, so far back into defender spawn, trying to spot out towards mid. It's a kill zone hallway, realistically there. We're going to come through, and we could be seeing a Hunter's Fury. I jinxed it. It's not coming out regardless. Order. Trying to show some aggression, get a trade at least, make numbers even. A Paradox holding steady, edging over towards A.
Order has also swapped the side of the Killjoys, so perhaps expecting that B, given that has been rather provident for Paradox, they might want to be hitting to that side of the map, but once again, it's A. I think when Paradox hits the side, they see there's no Killjoy utility there. They're going to be quite content to go for Order, just holding off for a retake for the moment.
Rotation is finally coming out from Order, and the Jet Dash, of course, initial player onto site. Already in his way up towards Heaven. As long as he can be silent and maybe get a few frags, it will favor Paradox so much. Sign Hunter's Fury won't actually pick up anyone. I think he may have actually... No, didn't tag it, exempt at the end of the day.
I deterred the plants.
Oh,
it was
that's
almost
right.
at the right time.
But still 6 seconds, plenty on the clock to spare. Spike will get dumped down. 4v5 on the retake. Order, they can pull this off absolutely. The firepower of Disco and Texter, the combos, exempt holding close range now. Finally, that's what you want. It takes Texter to open up. Delusion is gone, even numbers. And Sign, he's biding time. Utility man for Order after all. Disco working his way up to site along with Texter. Confirms the initial first kill to Exempt. The trade back from Maz. Texter getting yet another. And the jumper from Exempt will be his downfall. Nation 1v3. How much utility do you have really on the spike? Not implanted for him. Disco. Triple kill. Order on the retake. Match point.
Oh dear, things falling apart for Paradox there. How many times have we seen them with that player advantage? They get the early pick, but Order is so patient. They're so diligent in how they play things. They let Paradox come in there. Sign used the Hunter's Fury to buy a little bit more time. Doesn't quite prevent the plant, but it perhaps puts Paradox a little bit on the back foot. They're a little bit more flustered. They can't quite get the spike and the setup they might like with the Hunter's Fury sweeping through. And once the retake comes through from Order, it's absolutely perfect. They trade out players here and there, but they've got the numbers they need at the end of things. And now match point, Autumn. Oh dear me, I think it's not the first time it's the first time they brought out the opponent's defensive half, just looking to put that cherry on top of the cake here. Repositions to A, and it's going to have an absolute field day. Paradox makes their way down this A long.
Yeah, look, Autumn, he pulls out the big guns when he's had enough and he just wants to go to bed at this time. I'm not too sure, maybe. It's 8:25 after all, a bit early. Regardless, he's locking down the A angle, and Paradox, 3 players there looking to group up for the take. Now, if a smoke does come out, the problem is, Autumn, no jet dash, so he can still go for the peek and retreat to safety into the smoke. Misses a rare shot onto Exempt at least. Paradox, they do confirm the side take, but Tux is already lying in wait. The short draw doesn't get close. Autumn, gets his shoulder, and the man advantage not favoring Paradox at all. Down to the lucky last player, Nation, with a single sheriff in hand. 1v4. I think it's safe to say we can put this matchup to bed.
As a phenomenal effort coming through from Order. They're just toying with their food at this point.
30 seconds
With that
left.
position from Disco, what an off angle. Blast Packs attack onto up top, and probably will confirm the final kill. Misses a few sprays, unsurprisingly. And the baiting Nation to go towards Autumn won't happen. Tux, triple kill. Order 13-8. Well, I'll say, I'll be honest, deja vu to last night's matchup versus Nebula as well. Map 1, Nebula came really close, 13-9, but they got dominated in map 2. Same story, but in reverse tonight.
Yeah, but look, a great comeback from Paradox there. Going down that heavily on Haven, it's got to be a blow to the morale to bring it back, get that early lead. And not only that, when Order caught up, got past them, they took those first 2 rounds at the start of the second half, got themselves back level. Things were looking good for them, but it just shows you the power of Order. They let Paradox get into that position, and then it was just all Order all the way. Time and time again, you saw they're sometimes playing aggressive at the start of the round, losing a player here and there, but able to respond. And that second to last round was just a beautiful play by them, losing the player early, waiting for the retake, and then coming back. And not only, it wasn't just like a closely done thing on the retake, they won that handily with multiple players left. Just shows you how good they are, how well practiced they are. And they're once again looking like the team to beat going forward in this competition.
Of course, so far they've gone uncontested and flawless thus far in this entire tournament. Not dropping a single map. They dropped a few rounds, but regardless...
20 bomb from Autumn as well.
Yeah, but you know, on the bright side...
leading the way.
On the bright side, Temp0ral, a silver lining you could say is that we are seeing smaller teams starting to put up a fight against the Titan that is Order. And I wouldn't necessarily say chinks in their armor, but... when you are the top team, everyone is out and gunning for you.
Giving them a little bit of a scuff at least. They're going to have to order, and I guess that's the name of the game as the top team. You can't sit back and rest on your laurels because the other teams will catch up. Not only are you the team to beat, so they're putting a lot more effort into you. I guess you're getting out there. There's heaps of video on you. If you keep playing the same things over and over again, you will be found out, and other teams will be able to capitalize on that. So that's perhaps the incentive that a top team needs to keep improving themselves. You don't want the other teams to catch up. You want to take all that glory for yourself. You got to put in their effort, and at least Order has been doing that.
They have indeed. And now let's go back to our pretty faces to confirm that. I actually managed to...
So you just looked at the screen, so all those aren't pretty faces.
Not quite. No, not really. Well, regardless, Order up by 2. And I'm trying to confirm an interview right now with at least a player, regardless winning or losing side.
While you do that, I'd like to talk about Killjoy. I love Sentinel players. I love watching how they play things. We're seeing Sentinel move a little bit out of the meta. Some teams choose to run without it. It's certainly a viable strategy. There's no hard and fast. You need this many of this role, this many of that role. It's not like you need 2 duelists, 1 initiator, 1 Sentinel, 1 whatever the other one is. 1 smoker, of course. But teams still comfortable running it. It may end up coming down to map dependency, but get back to my point in particular. I love the way it was both Tux and Nation playing that, particularly in the first half. A lot of pressure, a lot of ability by the Killjoys to live up to exactly to what Killjoy is supposed to do and lock down a site. You saw a couple of rounds early on where Nation was an absolute rock, sitting on the site, particularly on A, able to hold down the fort while allowing for their teammates to come through and assist with either defense of the site or the retake in the first place. We saw that nice little play also, I believe, towards the end of the first half, where Nation puts down puts down the Killjoy, puts down the lockdown to force out that Hunter's Fury from Sign to give them a fighting chance of the round. It doesn't end up going their way, thanks to the other Sentinel player, Tux, having the nicely placed Nano Swarm, but brilliant work out of both of the Killjoys here across both maps.
Well, thank you for that breakdown, but actually I have managed to confirm a interview. It will be with Exhibit. I'm pulling him into the call right now, so let's hear him. But yeah, overall, just a different class of plays to come out from Order, better use of utility and better coordination. That's all I can really say. Exhibit, I'm trying to get the call on, and hopefully he does pick up. Exhibit, welcome! Now, first off, unfortunately, man, bad luck. 2-0 by Order, but map 2, you guys came dangerously close. What happened at the very end?
Well, I feel like we definitely could have got 10-2 off in CT, but like, if you look through the timeline, we just threw mad advantage every round, people ego peeking, and it's just, yeah, it's like, we're not tilted that we'd lost the series, we're just tilted that we lost the way we did, or,
Well, one thing I want to bring up, maybe you guys watched the game between Order and Nebula last night, and the rock, essentially, that is Autumn. A lot of your players committed, I wouldn't say a mistake, but the same plays that Nebula did, peeking Autumn, one player at a time, essentially, and he just flat out wins those aim duels.
Yeah, we're definitely trying to avoid that, and it's just, people just ego peeking him, I guess. It's like, people getting hype, we're up 5v3. If we win this, we win the economy game, and then, just rough.
It does happen. Temp0ral, any questions from you to come out for, well, utility-wise, or?
No, I really feel like, I mean, we've been this is like basically a new team. Like Maz and I had a 6-month break. We just came back to this roster. Nation's new, so we're just like trying to bring back Paradox to at least be decent. Because right now, lately their results have not been the greatest, but
because like we mentioned earlier at the very start of the stream, actually, that you guys have had a change of leadership of sorts. Paradox has lost Rice, and as a result, a new lineup, Exhibit
it was
and Maz. Yeah, please.
Yeah, like the past 5 months, it's been like Strax, Rice, Exempt, Dylan, and Azulia, and then Strax, Rice, and Azulia gone now. Brought back Maz and Nation's mates with Dylan or Delusion, and he's playing for us too now.
Well, one question. Who is actually the captain or IGL in game?
Probably Delusion. Yeah.
Delusion, right?
Yeah.
And there's no input from the other players.
No, there is obviously. Like we have,
just have to make sure.
Like Exempt is usually like secondary call in, and Maz gives his opinions post round. Usually, Nation and I are more like the quieter ones. And
Well, fair enough. Regardless, though, one MVP to come out from your side for this series, who would it be?
Probably had to be Nation. He held sides down really well, giving us advantage stalling, and then gotta get him.
But regardless, Order, they still reign supreme. Best team in Oceania for a reason, I suppose.
Yeah, they're pretty cracked. So.
Alright, Exhibit, well, you guys are out of the qualifiers for now. You still have chances in the future, though. But seriously, what's next for Paradox? Will we be seeing this core 5 stack of players, screaming more, rehearsing strats, and becoming more and more serious?
Yeah, for sure. Well, we made closed quals already, so we're playing like 3 weeks, I think it is, for the closed qual. And got ESL tomorrow. And that's about it. Then we're just going to be scrimming every night, that type of deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Temp0ral, anything from you, my man?
No, thank you.
Well, Exhibit, any last-minute shout-outs you want to give out on stream?
Nah, it's alright, man. Just cheers for the cast, and we got a VOT to watch. Cheers that.
Absolutely.
GG's, man.
You guys will need the VOD. Well, regardless, man, not to say in a bad way, but seriously, Exhibit, once again, thank you for coming. Bad luck, but at least you made the close quals, so hopefully by then we'll see a huge improvement in Paradox. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks. See you, man.
There you have it, guys. Temp0ral, well, Exhibit, the nominated interviewee for tonight, coming out from Paradox. He gave us his thoughts, and look, I really think it just came true at the end. We mentioned it earlier at the start. Just new lineup, new players, Maz and Exhibit were coming out of retirement, you could say. And as a result, just up against a much more organized team, Order, who've been playing together for so long, so rehearsed, and have just such experienced leadership, you could say it was inevitable.
Yeah. But it's good to hear that from Exhibit, that the fact that they're committed to making the team, making the progress that they need to. You're not just going to put 5 players together and magically have it work out. It is a time-consuming process, And so having that commitment, being able to ride through these early bumps is absolutely crucial to the team's success in the long run. They've, yeah, as you said, they're through to close quals. They'll, you know, if it doesn't work out there, they'll be, I think, yeah, top 4 through go to stage finals, bottom 4 go through to second quals, close quals. So they're not going to have the pressure of the 7 open qualifiers. They're going to be have that time in the middle. They'll at least, yeah, they'll have the time between now and close quals to practice. They'll have the time between the first close quals and either second close quals or stage finals to practice as well. And then, of course, you've got stage 3 further on down the line. Plenty of opportunities more for the Paradox team to come to the fore and put up the challenge to order that this region would so love to see.
And by God, guys, do we need it. Order, they can stand the top 4 as long as they want, but sooner or later, cracks in their armor and other teams will be gunning for them. As you can see, Nebula, they got close. Straight out of the zoo. Another huge curveball into the scene. They may just as well be the ones to come out on top this time. But regardless, guys, everyone, thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. Thank you for the follows. You know what? I will redeem one flex from Nelvi and Temp0ral. Any shoutouts you want to give out on stream? Plug your socials, maybe.
Plug myself. That's a bit inappropriate for this broadcast. Yeah. Temp0ral on Twitter, or spell that with letters. That's to follow me for some Valorant and other non-Valorant action.
By non-relevant, he means the game with 6v6 heroes and, you know, very colorful by Blizzard. But regardless, guys, I am your caster, DigitalQF, of course, joined by me tonight, a very special guest, old friend Temp0ral. You can follow me on Twitter at DigitalQF. You can follow my Twitter account, Twitch account right here, in which you'll see me streaming more
Subscribe!
Tonight, ideally, and you can use my emotes. But tonight it was the quarterfinals. Tomorrow night will be the semis. Everyone, once again, thank you, and see you next time.